Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. I'm Josh Horowitz. Thanks as always for listening or watching on Spotify, if that's where you're taking us in, or if you're on the YouTube channel, welcome aboard. Give us a like, a subscribe. You know what to do. Click the button. Week in and week out, I try to give you guys the best possible conversations, extended conversations with the best actors and filmmakers known to man. Just last week we had Florence Pugh. This week it's Jodie Comer. Doesn't get better than Jodie Comer. She is, of course, the star of Killing Eve, coming off that remarkable run, and she's about to start this Broadway run in this great new play, a one-woman play that earned her all the accolades in London, and justifiably so. It's called Prima Facie? Prima Facie? I say it like that because I'm not sure of the correct pronunciation. I've heard it a few different ways. Bottom line, great show, well worth your time. It's going to sell out in New York. So if you're in the area, do your best, try to check it out. This conversation is fantastic. We taped it live at Symphony Space in New York City, and it was an electric evening. Her fans are phenomenal. They're great. They're passionate. Of course, we covered Killing Eve. This is a special one for a number of reasons. This is really her first extended conversation, maybe any conversation, public conversation she's had about the end of Killing Eve. Yes, that controversial ending. She finally weighs in on what she thought about Villanelle's fate. Stay tuned for that. Plus, for the first time, you got Jodie Comer talking about all those big rumors. Is she Sue Storm in Fantastic Four? Would she want to play that role? Is she in the new Blade Runner series? Plus, we talk about the Bikeriders, her upcoming movie with Austin Butler and Tom Hardy and Michael Shannon, Mike Feist. We talk about the upcoming film she shot with Benedict Cumberbatch, a series she's developing, and her entire career. So this was a blast. I know you guys are going to enjoy it. I should say also what you're going to see, as I said, is a live event. You're going to feel that energy in the room. You're also going to hear me reference a great cause that we were supporting. This was for a fundraiser, really, for my mom's organization called Harlem-is.org. Check it out. Great organization, great website that documents the heroes, the cultural leaders of Harlem. And you could do worse than give $5 or $10 or $50 if you are so inclined to support such a great organization. So check it out, Harlem-is.org. Support, if you're not going to support me, at least support Mama Horowitz. Come on, guys. All right, let's go to the main event. Remember to review, rate, and subscribe to Happy, Sad, Confused. Hit the subscription button and spread the good word. Follow me on social media, Joshua Horowitz. Give us a like, a good review. You know the drill. You know what to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this chat. It was a special night, and now you're going to be a part of it. Here is me and Jodie Comer in New York City, Symphony Space. One fantastic night. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the host of Happy, Sad, Confused, Josh Horowitz.
Hi guys, hello. Hello New York, hi guys. Welcome to this Happy, Sad, Confused Live. I am indeed Josh Horowitz. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. This is a very special event for many reasons. Welcome to those of you that came out in person. Hello to all of you watching around the world. We've got a worldwide audience tonight. As you can expect, our guest today has a bit of a following around the world. I want to make one little small plea that will probably fall on deaf ears. I know you guys are going to try to record this, you jerks out there. You're going to try and spread it around. Don't record it. Don't spread it around, because this is for you guys right now. This will become available as a regular Happy, Sad, Confused podcast at some point, but we don't want it ripped in a bad way and whatever. This is for you guys tonight. So if you do me a solid, don't record this. Don't spread it around, please. Thank you. In addition to this being special because this is my neighborhood I grew up in, the guest I love, it's also a fundraising event for an organization that's very, very important to me. It's Harlem-is, Harlem-is.org. I would highly recommend you guys check out this organization that documents the living cultural history of Harlem and documents its heroes. I happen to be a big fan of it for many reasons, not the least of which is that it's created by my mom, Barbara Horowitz. So yes, so that's important. But I feel like as much as you love the Horowitzes, me and my mom, you're really here. I know why you're here, guys. Let's be real. My guest tonight is one of my favorite human beings and also one of the greatest actors living on the planet Earth right now. She's, of course, an Emmy and BAFTA winner for her work in a little show called Killing Eve that many of you might have heard of. She's about to make her Broadway debut, guys, in Prima Facie. I would highly recommend you get tickets to Prima Facie immediately if you haven't already, because these tickets are going to go quickly. It's an amazing piece of work. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all aspects of her career. I want to hear a big, warm New York welcome for the one and only. Give it up for Jodie Comer, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Jodie, welcome to New York, Jodie.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. Thank you very much.
So you've made the move for Broadway. This is an exciting moment. Thank you for. Okay, so talk to me first. Have you ever spent like a big chunk of your life in New York? Is this going to be like the first solid New York moment?
This is my first solid New York moment. I've always been here for like a couple of days for like press and work stuff, but I've got like a three or 4 months here. So I want to fully immerse myself in I want to be a local by the time I leave.
Well,
basically.
I've got some helpful
Tips?
tips and gifts, actually. I've got some gifts for you. Here we go. Here's your New York goodie bag. So I was hoping to get, do you know what Duane Reade is, first of all?
Wait. That's a pharmacy, right?
It is, okay. She's legit.
Yeah.
Walgreens owns Duane Reade, so that's what this is.
Okay.
So I've got here a Yankee cap for you.
Amazing.
Okay.
I will wear this.
Please. I mean, it's a little cliched, but I mean, look, it's an I Love New York.
No, you're going to have one of them.
You gotta have that.
Wow.
I Love New York shirt, of course.
Can you sign this for me?
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna help the resale value. And most importantly, the best cookies on the planet. Have you heard of Levain cookies? Do you know what these are?
No. Okay, everyone's a big fan of them.
If you get hungry during the show, there are 8 cookies in here for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course.
Can I take the bag as well?
Yeah, I suppose.
Thank you very much.
We're falling apart already. So did you visit the States much as a kid? Like, what was your first understanding? Like, what was your perception of what the United States and New York was growing up in Liverpool?
I don't know, but I remember when I first got to LA, I must have been pressed for Killing Eve, and I'd never really been to America before, and I felt like I was in a video game. Like, I remember the yellow school buses, and there was a lemonade stand in someone's front garden, and there was a Taco Bell, which made me think of Mean Girls. So I was like, wow, it's real. Like, it's real. The movies are real.
Yeah.
So that was very kind of surreal and sensory. I mean, it's just so big. Everything is so big.
Yeah, but you must have spent a fair amount of time in London growing up. London's pretty damn big in its own right, no?
Yeah. Big-ish.
Ish. Have you spent more time watching Seinfeld, Sex and the City? What's your pop culture perception of New York?
Probably Friends.
Yeah, Friends. There you go.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's first talk about what brings you to New York, because this is a really special piece of work. You, first of all, before Prima Facie came out in London, give me a sense of your theater background. How much work on stage had you done?
Very little. Very, very little. I'd done a play in Scarborough in the Stephen Joseph Theatre when I was like 16, and that was theatre in the round. And that was my first kind of experience of theatre, and I loved it. And I didn't do anything anymore after that. Not because I didn't want to, but my experience generally auditioning for theatre roles was, I hadn't been to drama school, so a lot of people felt like I wasn't experienced enough, or, didn't have a certain level of knowledge or understanding of what the kind of undertaking was. So it was very, very limited. I mean, I loved going to theatre. I was like such a big musical theatre fan. Like when I was younger, I used to say to my mum, I'm like, when I'm 18, I'm going to move to London and I'm going to do a 3 years musical theatre course, and then you can come and watch me on the West End. You know, that was what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then I grew a bit and I lost my rhythm and I'm all a bit long, and and then dancing kind of fell by the wayside. But yeah, and then, you know, after kind of a lot of rejection, in that sense, I thought, you know what, hopefully, I felt that one day I would meet a director or a group of creatives who wouldn't see it as a hindrance. And I was just so fortunate that when I met Justin Martin, the director of Prima Facie, and James Bierman and Susie Miller, who wrote the piece, like, they were just like, gosh, anything you need, like, we will help you. You need movement classes, voice work, anything. Like, it, you know, they made that accessible to me.
Now, for those that don't know much about this production, you're really diving into the deep end here. This is just you on stage for, 90 minutes, 100 minutes. It's a roller coaster of a show. It's about Tessa, who is I'd like to hear you tell me. Tell me a little bit about the journey that she goes on in this, and what resonated with you when you read the material for the first time.
Yeah, so Tessa is a criminal defense barrister. She's from a working class background. She's from Liverpool. Whoop, whoop. She's hugely successful, you know, is very confident in what she does, and really believes in what she does. And she is often having to defend men in sexual assault cases. And during the play, she herself is a victim of sexual assault, and she ends up in the courtroom in the witness stand. And, you know, the story kind of explores how her world is turned upside down because everything she's kind of committed her life to is called into question. So, yeah.
Did this come, obviously you had done a much different kind of a thing that deals with some thematics that are similar to The Last Duel, which obviously also deals with sexual assault and in a different time period, but also, you know, shows how some things have not changed, unfortunately, in terms of the way the women are judged and listened to or not listened to. Did one experience bleed into another? Did you find anything from The Last Duel that applied or helped in your approach to this?
Do you know, they felt so different. Because usually I would sometimes feel if I've like explored something before, I'd be more inclined to be like, oh, well, you know, I've done that and how can I make it different? But the play felt so unique in a sense of like, I felt what was so powerful about the piece and about Tessa's story was that it was all told from her perspective. You know, she had so much control over the storytelling, and there was something about that I felt was so different to The Last Duel. You know, of course, the theme is and the problem is still very much the same, but the execution and the way in which the story was told was very, very different.
How do you, I don't know, maintain a sense of self and happiness going through this journey every night? Because it's like it's an emotional journey, and I'm sure it's very rewarding. I mean, you really connect with an audience in a meaningful way by the end, but it also must put you through the ringer, I would imagine, emotionally.
Yeah, well, we would like, as soon as I come off stage, I have we basically play music. It's like, oh, and then we're like, oh, you know,
it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be. So music is a big thing for us backstage, you know, and I am on stage alone, but there is like an army of predominantly women, you know, backstage who are all kind of holding me up and making the show work, and also, you know, making this play what it is. And there was such a camaraderie and kind of sisterhood backstage. So it was always just about like, you know, music. I think music's a good thing for that.
It must also, like, I don't know, spoil you for future projects, because like the connection again that you must feel in that moment, night after night, must be something that probably the rest of your career, I would imagine, you're going to chase. Like, how do I get back to that feeling? Yeah,
and I also, you know, I'd done theatre before, but it was a very long time ago, and I remember we hadn't performed in front of an audience yet. It was the first preview. The dress rehearsal went so bad. I was like, oh no, this is not good.
This is a bad idea.
What have I done? Yeah. But it was the first preview, and I can't really actually remember that performance at all. It was almost like someone was just kind of carrying me around the stage. But I do remember one moment near, towards the end of the play, and I won't say too much for people who haven't been to see it yet, but Tessa speaks very directly to the audience, and the lights come up a little bit, and I remember hearing, actually makes me emotional thinking about it, like responses from women when they were watching the play. Yeah. And I don't think any of us were quite prepared for that. Like in the rehearsal room, you're speaking about a statistic and a 1 in 3, and then you're faced with it, and to hear it and feel it was like, you can't compare it to anything else. And I've been told that so often, from other actors, because I was also like, well, what is it? Everyone speaks about theatre as, being so special, and I'm like, what is it? And it's that thing that you can't replicate on it's like the sharing of energy,
During the run, who visited you? Who came backstage? Who surprised you? Were there moments you're like, oh my God, you were in the audience?
Yeah. I don't really like to know, because if it just freaks me out a little bit. Tom Jones came. And all I was thinking was, oh my God, sex bomb, you're my sex bomb. He was wonderful. I very fortunately met Dawn French, who's like an icon. I'd convinced myself one night as I was acting, I thought I seen Elton John with his heart. I was convinced I seen heart-shaped glasses. And I was on stage, and in my head, I'm like saying my lines, and I'm like, oh my God, this Elton John, he's got his heart-shaped glasses on. And it wasn't him. No. So yeah.
You'll be visited by Elton this time around.
Hopefully, yeah.
We'll see. You recently, a belated happy birthday, Jodie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So it was a milestone birthday too.
Yeah.
So,
Big 3-0.
Big 3-0.
I feel like it's going to be good. I'm excited for my 30s.
Do you feel like you got your wild years out of your system in your 20s?
Yes. Yeah.
At what age were you the biggest hot mess? Like, where were you the messiest in your life?
Oh God, it like ranges from, it's like 17 to 21.
Is that? Oh wow, for 4 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But I'm glad. I know. I'm kind of grateful that they're out the way, because I do think, like, I always think, wow, I wonder if you don't get them out the way when you're younger, they're just down the road.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, that's
like
true.
They're coming.
It's sadder if it happens.
Yeah. What about
later.
you? When were your wild years?
Mine were actually a little younger even.
Okay.
I skipped a lot of school in my teen years, yeah. But
So
I didn't do
cool.
anything cool. Like, I didn't like hang out with anybody or do anything. I wasn't smoking cigarettes. I was like,
What were you doing?
going to the movies. I was like, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
What were you doing?
Oh God. Staying out way too late. Yeah.
So let's go all the way back. Okay, we talked about the hot mess years, but growing up, what would friends and family have said about young Jodie? Was she an extrovert? Was it all destined to be? Are people surprised about where you are based on who you were as a kid?
I think I was definitely extroverted. We recently watched some baby videos at home, and I was like, wow, it's
all
pretty
there.
clear. Yeah.
Yep.
Lots of song and dance and impressions, and like me, my mum will be videoing my brother, and I'm like, it's just like,
room
just
for
trying
one
to get
more?
in. Yeah. I'm like, so there's a lot of that. So I think I was always vying for attention in some way.
Did you mentioned being into musicals,
Yeah.
posters in the bedroom as a kid? Do you remember bands you were
posters.
obsessed with, actors you were obsessed with? What about this?
I think.
Films you were obsessed with as a kid.
As a kid. But to see the thing, when I was a kid, I wasn't really like a film buff.
Okay.
I just I loved Disney.
Sure.
Home Alone, like when I was a kid, it wasn't like I looked at film as, an art form and something I could be. I wasn't like you, Josh.
Home Alone is an art film.
But it's
I
true,
don't know what
it's
you're
true.
talking about.
I know, but I feel like,
Yeah.
I wasn't watching anything, extremely sophisticated.
I got you.
And yeah, and it was only like when I got a bit older and I realized, oh, like this is actually a profession and these people aren't really these people, and that I made the connection.
Is there a film that made you cry the most as a kid? What's the film that's made you cry the most over the years, you think?
Fox and the Hound.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
I say this every interview, but Billy Elliot.
Oh, right, Billy Elliot.
That's like every time I watch that, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Jamie Bell's really good in that, don't you think?
So good.
You know what? I'm a friend of Jamie Bell's, and I asked him for a favor.
You're like, here he is, everybody.
He's not here, but we do have a video.
No, you don't.
Let's take a look. Jamie Bell, let's watch.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Are you kidding me?
It's coming. It's coming.
You all right, Jodie? You all right, our kid? I'm not going to do it in a Scouse accent. That would be bad. Happy birthday. It's Jamie. I don't think we've actually ever met, ever. But Josh asked me to do this as a favour to him. Little does he know it was actually a favour to me. Do you remember that script that we were sent? That we were maybe going to do together? What if there was like an extended dance sequence in it? Just a thought. Would that twist your arm at all? Don't think about it now. Don't answer it now. Happy birthday. I want to wish you the best, and I want to wish you every continued success. You are certainly one of our most fiercest and bestest and most scousest actors that we've ever had. I wish you the very best. Josh, hello. And thank you. And Jodie, now you owe me a favour too. So I'll see you at the read-through. Lots of love.
Thank you. My cheeks are sore. I might be stuck.
He's a charmer.
Thank you for that.
Oh, thank Jamie.
I will. Want to see him.
Were you guys going to make something together? Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah. But, as sometimes with these things I've learned is like you can say yes to something in like the January and then you do another job and it's like schedules change and things don't work out. And it was one of those situations. It wasn't because I was suddenly like, you know what? Actually, no, I don't want to do this. It's like those things happen sometimes. But yeah, he's not lying.
So is singing and dancing in a film still on the list?
Yeah. I've been saying this for like 6 years or something. Still I don't think anyone's taking me seriously.
Have you done like the movie musical audition by now? Like, do you?
Yeah, I have.
What's the glitch? What's going on?
I don't know. Say no more.
Okay.
But no, I believe it will happen. It's just a matter of time.
Okay. What about the live-action Shrek movie? You're a big Shrek fan.
I would love that. I don't even need a live-action, guys. They're going to bring out like a 5th one soon, right? Something.
Right.
I just want to be a voice.
Are you a purist? Do you like the Puss in Boots movies too, or do you like? No, you're more Shrek.
That was really aggressive. No, I just.
Antonio Banderas is very angry right now.
Yeah. No, it's more just Shrek. But I would just like to be. I would also love to be, in an animation.
Before we get to animation, I have some Shrek trivia for you. I want to see how well you know Shrek.
Oh no!
Because you pretend you're this expert, but a lot of people say they're Shrek experts to get the cool cred.
I can't believe you're doing this to me. You're going to expose me in front of everyone.
I have a lot of easy ones. Let's start here. Let's see. Who does Lord Farquaad torture in his chamber?
Who does Lord Farquaad torture in his chamber? The face with the mirror. No?
Oh, there are gasps in the audience.
Isn't that... Who? Gingerbread Man! Oh my god! Not the buttons! Of course! Oh my god. Thank you.
What breakfast does Donkey love?
Josh! I haven't watched it for a while.
Can you name the iconic Smash Mouth song played in the movie?
Wait, this is so...
Where does Shrek live?
In the swamp!
She did it! She got it! Yeah!
Wait, what is it? Somebody once told me the world. It takes a minute, guys. It just takes a minute.
Whew, that was a
God,
journey.
I've got to rewatch that.
Wow.
Now I'm definitely not going to get a part in it.
I'm sorry.
Look at that, sabotage.
Jamie Bell will work with you, just the
Yeah.
Shrek community will not.
Hey guys, I want to talk to you about one of our sponsors this week on Happy, Sad, Confused. It's ZocDoc. And this is an important one because when I feel a health issue coming on and I'm looking up my symptoms online, I go down the social media rabbit hole, I just get more confused than I was at the start. There are better ways, though, guys, to get the answers you want and the care you deserve from actual trusted professionals and not just random people on the internet. ZocDoc helps you find expert doctors and medical professionals that specialize in the care you need and deliver the type of experience you want. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. So there's no more doctor roulette, scouring the internet for questionable reviews. With ZocDoc, you have an actual trusted guide to connect you to your favorite doctor you haven't met yet. And millions of people are using ZocDoc's free app right now to find and book a doctor in their neighborhood who's patient reviewed and fits their needs and schedule just right. So go to ZocDoc.com/happysad and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/happysad. ZocDoc.com/happysad.
So, okay, when the work started to come, did you find you were immediately comfortable in front of a camera? Was there a learning curve, or did it feel, for whatever reason, this feels where I'm supposed to be?
I feel like it always felt like where I was supposed to be, strangely. I never felt intimidated by it, you know? And I think I was actually pretty, as we all are, I think, when you know, especially when you're younger, you're just so fearless. So yeah, it always just felt like comfortable.
Have you skipped by that inevitable imposter syndrome that comes at a certain point? Like, do you have moments of self-doubt?
Yeah.
And does it happen before or during or after
No,
the
it's
work?
it's weird, you know. I'm trying to be a bit better about it. I think sometimes you can't help it, but actually more recently I've been catching myself in it and like having a word with myself. Because like I did a film with Jeff Nichols before Christmas called Bikeriders, and yes, he's incredible. And I just remember having so much fear and being so nervous. And I remember one day we were doing a scene and I was like, Jeff, can I speak to you? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm really scared. He's like, me too, it's fine. You know, and there was just like a moment of honesty, but it's, I'm trying to get better at like stepping into my own power, you know? Yeah. It's like, there comes a point where you have to just own the fact that, you know, you are where you are because you deserve to be there, and you work hard and you're generally a good person, like, you know, and accept it. Yeah, but it's tricky. It's hard. So,
we obviously don't have time to go into every aspect of your career, but I feel like we should give a little love to this show that some of you might have seen, Killing Eve.
Yes.
Okay, so you get the job, you get on set. Are the vibes immediately different for whatever reason from the top down, from Sandra, from Phoebe? Did you sense from day one that whether it's going to turn out great or not, it's a different kind of a production?
Yeah, completely. I mean, I felt that when I read the script. I remember being sent the first episode, and I'd obviously watched Fleabag and was just like, okay, well, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is the best thing ever. You know, and was so curious what she'd do next. And I remember reading the first episode and being like, wow, I've never read a script like this before, and it just felt so fresh and exciting. And then, you know, to meet the costume designers and the set design and the, you know, Harry Bradbeer, who started us off as kind of lead director. And then, yeah, and getting to set. It just felt very new, and it also felt like you couldn't put it into any sort of box, right. You know, and that can also sometimes be a little terrifying because I feel like everyone wants to put something in a box.
It's this meets that, or it's
this was. So when it isn't, it's, you know, it's the unknown, which is actually, I think, when the most kind of brilliant things are brought to life is when it's, you're not quite sure what it is.
And then, of course, it's the reception happens.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother thing. I mean, it could have been rewarding in its own right, and then it comes and goes, and it's a season and whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, do you remember when it premiered and when the reviews started to come in and when you started to sense, oh, this is clicking with audiences in a really profound way?
I feel like, well, I remember when we went back for season 2 and we were filming in London, and I remember, you know, there'd just be if people noticed us filming, there'd be like so many crowds of people, you know, whereas like the first year we were able to just kind of go unnoticed and no one was really bothered. And I remember that response. I remember the Halloween costumes, you know, the fan art, and also like just people, you know, approaching me in the street. You know, I'd never had it that much before and it was always Villanelle, you know. It was like there was so much enjoyment. Thank you. You know, people were so excited by her and like, oh, she's brilliant, you know, like she's so bad that it's good, you know. And I love that because it was always like people was telling me something that they didn't really want to admit to, which was great.
Say this,
yeah. Like, I mean, so it's so wonderful.
And of course, it works for a number of reasons, and primarily it's that relationship between you and Sandra in the show that works so well.
Yeah.
Let's look at a clip and talk about it on the other side.
No!
Okay. Any memories spring to mind from that particular scene?
Yeah, I do. There's a couple of memories actually. I remember because I had massive high heels on that we had to take off. So me and Sandra were a similar height for the dancing. But what I love about that scene in particular, I remember I kind of had a light bulb moment within this scene of when Villanelle admits to killing so many people, and Eve is so, maybe accepting is not the right word, but she doesn't judge and react in a way that she's so often met with, you know, like right. At that point, if I remember correctly, it's like Villanelle is feeling like she is this awful person as a result of what she's done, and there's just a moment of stillness. And I remember finding that with Sandra, you know, there's a lot of moments like that we'd have on set that sometimes we would come to and we'd be like, how are we gonna do this, you know, how are we gonna find this in a way that feels honest? And I feel like the relationship that me and Sandra had, it was like so trusting that we always did, you know, it always kind of fell into place, and it was a lovely kind of calm moment in between all the craziness.
Did you guys burn each other's numbers after the show ended? Are you still in contact?
No, we still got each other's numbers.
Okay, good.
But yeah, it's that thing, isn't it? Of like, you know, you do a job for so long and then, you know, you part ways.
It's the nature of the business.
Yeah, it's something you have to get so used to. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever imagine becoming a fashion icon, a style icon, being in the cards thanks to Villanelle? I mean, her many looks, the iconic wardrobe, really set her apart from the crowd, clearly.
Yeah. I mean, she's the style icon.
Well.
I'm like a t-shirt, jeans, trainers kind of gal. But no, it was remarkable, actually. I mean, when you know, you think back to like the Molly Goddard moment with the pink dress, it was just like, it was crazy. And it was amazing. And also, you know, I think that was like Molly's first collection, and that hadn't come out yet. And, you know, Phoebe Gay, our costume designer, had found it, you know, and sourced it, and it was her idea. So it's so great when you work with people who are so creative and, you know, kind of one step ahead of everything.
It's been a while since you murdered someone on camera. Do you miss it? Do you feel?
Wait, has it?
Was that a reaction before I said the on camera
part? I don't know.
part?
I don't know. It has been a while.
Yeah. Do you think you still have the muscle in you? Do you think you'll be ready when duty calls?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
We were talking
too.
about muscle memory before. Maybe it's like one of them. It just comes back to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Jodie
Never
annihilates the room. She's like, I know how to do that. I've done that
Still
before.
got it. Yeah.
Look, since the finale of the show, I don't know if you've chatted about it, but obviously it got a big reaction from the audience.
That was mixed. That was very mixed.
Being diplomatic, I know I've seen it. We've all seen it all. Where were you at on the finale? I mean, did you anticipate the reaction from the mixed reaction from the crowd, from the fans?
I mean, I did anticipate a mixed reaction because I think that, you know, we have such an incredible fan base, and, you know, you've all lived with this show for such a long period of time that it almost feels impossible, you know? Like it was tricky, you know, to dictate what would feel right or what people would believe was right for the characters. I don't like thinking of her floating around the River Thames. So I think she crawled out. Or like, yeah, maybe she's been like reborn and now she's having to deal with her like past life karma. I don't know. But
was there discussion at the time of like, can we shoot a little more? Can we maybe give it out? Can we, or was it just sort of, this is what it is going to be?
It's hard because it's like, you know, you don't always have the episodes like in advance. Like we really, on that show, you know, you're really kind of working right up to the, you know, the kind of final hour. So yeah, there wasn't really like, oh, why don't we shoot this option and then, you know, try something different. But it's tricky, you know, and you want the fans to be satisfied and feel like, you know, the characters came away with what they deserve. But yeah.
Was there for you a period of mourning after the show? I mean, you devoted, you know, a few years of your life to this, and it changed your life in many respects. Yeah. Was it tough to kind of like come out of it and like get back to work, or did going back to work kind of help?
Yeah, I feel like I had my moment of mourning on set because, you know, the scene on the boat.
They know the scene. Whatever you're about to say, they know the scene.
The scene on the boat at the wedding where Sandra's dancing in the crowd. Yeah. And I was off camera. Oh, there was a shot where I was on camera as well, actually, but I was just watching her dance and the music was on, and I had this moment where I was like it hit me in that moment where I was so emotional. I was like, I'm not sure this is quite right for the character, but this is how I'm feeling. So yeah, I feel like I had a real moment there, and that's where we wrapped. Actually, we wrapped on that boat. So I feel like I'd have those kind of little like bittersweet moments on set, you know, like kind of witnessing it and like feeling so grateful and how brilliant it's been and how fun it's been.
It also must have been and continues to be mixed with such excitement because, you know, coming off of that, and obviously your career had been going very well prior to Killing Eve, but like what that demonstrated that you could do has offered you so many exciting new opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, to look at the film work you've done, and basically Free Guy was the first film you did, which is crazy to think that, let's see, so you've done Free Guy, a huge hit, a giant Ridley Scott film, which was fantastic, The Last Duel. You pop up in a Star Wars movie. You've got, I mean, like, you're operating.
I had a day free.
Well, you know. But, like, I guess, did you know kind of, like, what opportunities you were looking for in the wake of Killing Eve? Like, did you have a plan, or was it more of, like, acting on instinct? And what does it continue to be in terms of how you choose your roles?
Yeah, I think it's always instinct, you know, and it's about the material and what kind of like emotion it provokes in me. You know, I just feel like when you read something, you either feel really compelled or you don't, and I always just run with that, you know. I think your gut never lies. You know, but I was so like, I'd always wanted to do a period drama, and then I was like, Ridley Scott would like to speak to you. I'm like, oh my God, okay. You know, and also, you know, to work with Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds on this kind of huge blockbuster, which was so much fun. And actually, I think the perfect introduction to film, because I was, you know, done a lot of television, and you know, I feel like I remember someone saying to me once, "Oh, you know, don't do too much telly, because you know then you'll be a TV actress and you won't do film." And I think something about that stuck in my head. And of course, it's not true at all. And there's such a crossover now between those two worlds. But I feel like Free Guy was a very kind of nurturing and fun and playful way to kind of step into the film world.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to work on that scale, surround yourself with like nice, decent, cool people.
Solid people. Yeah.
Has Mariah Carey ever gotten back to you on your performance? Have you gotten the review?
No, I haven't asked. I remember when they were like, "We want you to sing this." I'm like, "What?" It's a Mariah Carey song. But it was fun. It was fun. We recorded it in LA in, no, I can't remember the name of it.
Like in a studio.
That very famous studio in LA. Okay. Yeah.
I remember when I was speaking to you, I think prior to doing The Last Duel, you admitted to me that you'd never seen Good Will Hunting.
Did I?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I watched that for the first time in Boston. When I got to Boston for Free Guy, I was like, I'm going to watch Good Will Hunting. This feels like the place to watch it.
I should see what all the hullabaloo's about, right?
And then obviously I worked with Matt, and he has this like most incredible anecdote about the film with Robin Williams when he talks about his wife farting in her sleep.
Yeah.
It's so good. He improv'd it apparently, and you can actually see the camera guy like shaking because they were all laughing so much.
Amazing. What do you? I mean, look, I love The Last Duel. It is a great production, probably one of Ridley's best films, which is saying a lot, I think. And to work opposite Adam Driver, who's kind of the best thing going.
Yeah.
I mean, talk to me a little bit about what that set felt like. I mean, Ridley's sets are so visceral. They're not. He's not working on green screen. You're there.
No. I mean, it's remarkable, you know, that every set looks like a painting, and the way in which he works is like you get to set and the cameras are, you know, set, the lighting is set, like everything is ready for you to go, you know, it's incredibly immersive, and he more often than not films with like 4 or 5 cameras, so it feels like theater in a way, in a sense of like it's very live, and there's no like, oh, I'm gonna wait and hold my act in for when the camera comes and turns around on me. Not that, you know,
that's what you do generally.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna give them nothing until it turns around.
When is it my turn, guys?
You know, but it just forces everyone to be super present. And the locations were incredible. And just the scope of it was huge, you know. And I felt I didn't have imposter syndrome on that, strangely.
Great.
I felt ready. Yeah, I felt ready. I felt confident. Yeah.
And then we come to, I know you're a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah. Well, I was a Shrek fan, apparently.
So you're Ray's mom, for those that don't know.
That's her name.
Still doesn't have a name. Still no name.
No.
Have you met Daisy Ridley, your daughter?
I did on the day. Yeah. Very briefly. It was actually the last day filming. And me and Billy, we were just in there for one day, like one afternoon. It was very surreal, you know. We were kind of like ushered in, and everyone was like about to wrap and was, you know,
like,
getting ready to go. And we're like, so it was very quick. But again, like to be in a studio and God, see the prosthetics and the makeup, and again, just like the art that goes into creating a film like that was so cool.
But did you give up your Star Wars eligibility card for just like a little one-day cameo, Jodie? Was this the right move?
I don't know.
You'll have to
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Did you ever see the movie?
Do you think I made a mistake?
No. No, the Shrek thing might
I'm
have
going to
been
think
a
about
mistake.
this all night now. I'm going to be like, oh my God.
I do want to mention more recent work that was kind of a full circle moment, I would imagine for some reasons, was Help, which was a production.
Oh, thank you.
It's a great piece of work and also a full circle moment because I know Stephen Graham was important in your life, wasn't he?
Yeah, Stephen introduced me to my agent, Jane Epstein, who I'm with now. I did like a little job with him in Liverpool when I was I think I was 17. And he, long story short, he basically very kindly introduced me to Jane. And it was on signing with Jane, really, that I was then kind of in, you know, different rooms and auditioning for different things. And that's when things kind of started to pick up. And he's incredibly generous. You know, I'm not the only person he's kind of taken under his wing in that way. And he's such a huge supporter of, you know, unknown talent and giving people opportunity. So I owe a lot to him.
And for this specific production, which of course a pandemic era thematic film and one that was demanding and intense, and I believe there's like a 26-minute unbroken shot in there. Which I mean, as an actor, is that exciting for you? Like to immerse yourself and be like, I'm gonna get to play through this.
It was, and I remember because when we started filming it, we'd just gone into like the 3rd lockdown in the UK, and it had just been announced, and we were like, we don't know if we're going to be able to shoot, you know. And Mark Munden, our director, he really loves rehearsal, and up until that point, I was always, and Stephen's was the same, you know. We were very much like, just leave it to the moment, you know. What will happen will happen. And, you know, I was always kind of against rehearsal in a way, probably because I'd never really done a lot of it. And that was so invaluable, you know, like for those moments where you're doing like a, you know, 15-minute take, and it's like choreography, you know, and you want to make sure that you're on your mark for the DOP and the sound up, you know, it's like you all have to kind of work as a team. But it was incredibly rewarding, you know, when you get those moments. And I think it really creates an energy within the film, you know. It's like you don't get a moment to stop, and neither does she. And it's almost, that's the same with Prima Facie, you know. I think she isn't able to come up for air, and neither is the audience, you know, until that final moment. So it's like they're kind of experiencing what she is in a way.
You have a very busy upcoming schedule. You've shot a couple very exciting projects. There's some other things that you might be doing. So I want to ask you about a couple of these. You're working with some of my favorite human beings. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes.
You've worked with.
Yeah.
On The End We Start From.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which again sounds like a pretty intense piece of work based on a book.
Yeah.
Are you producing this one? You're producing a bunch of things
yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, thank you. It's great. It's such a luxury, you know, to be able to be a part of like the creative. Sorry, guys, I keep like putting my back to you. I'm so sorry. You know, to be able to be a part of the creative process so early on, you know, and be a part of those conversations, and also listen to other people's opinions. I more often than not, like, you know, sit on Zooms and people will bring up, you know, thoughts, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually a really good thought. I didn't think of that. You know, you learn a lot.
I would imagine also a part of producing is helping foster environments that you want to be a part of. I mean, you've probably, you know, in your career, you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of how sets are run.
Yeah.
And you want to create something that is good for everybody.
Definitely. But I think more often than not, no, my experience has been good in regards to how sets are run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can you talk to me a little bit about what drew you to this particular book?
Yeah, well, it's a book by Megan Hunter called The End We Start From. Mahalia Bello is directing it. You know, and it's about a woman who she gives birth at the start of the film while London is simultaneously hit with flooding, you know. So it's kind of set within a climate crisis, but is essentially a very intimate story about motherhood and Mother Nature and the kind of will and power that both of those things hold. Baby in every scene almost. Yeah, so I knew that was going to be tricky, you know, and because I think a lot of people go, oh my God, baby in every scene, they think of time, money, you know, and that's true, like it's tough, but then like whenever the baby's on screen, you're just like, oh, because they're so honest, they're not trying. They're not trying.
We're going to have to be
or
real because that baby is real.
Yeah, like, you know, even when you act with small children. And I had a moment on Bikeriders with Jeff, and I was like, you're not even going to want to be on me. Like, when you turn around and see what this kid's doing, it's like, because it's so real. And there was, you know, when I spoke to Mahalia, you know, she really wanted to depict motherhood in an honest way, and she was really passionate about that. And I found that really interesting, and I was a big fan of her, so yeah. I'm
also just excited because I feel like you are the two arguably greatest chameleon actors. Benedict can do every voice, every impression, every accent, and we know from your work, you're no slouch in that department either.
I try.
Did you ever do an impression off, an accent off with Benedict?
No,
because if not, then I'm going to stage it on the press tour, okay? Okay. The Bikeriders. We were talking backstage about this because this is my group of people. Come on, Michael Shannon, Austin Butler, the great Tom Hardy, Jeff Nichols is directing.
Mike Feist.
Come on.
Damon Harriman, Norman Reedus.
So this is 1960s. This is a biker club in the Midwest.
Yeah, a motorcycle group in the Midwest, and the film spans over a decade. And the film essentially follows, you know, the members throughout those decades, and what starts off as quite an intimate, relatively innocent group becomes very much like a gang culture and things get out of hand. But I play Kathy, who I love very, very dearly, and she's a member of the group through her husband, Benny. And what I loved about her was like she's such a fantastic storyteller. You know, I had it's based on a book of photographs from Danny Lyons. And so I had images of her. And I fell in love with her, and then Jeff was like, I have 30 minutes of audio of interviews with her. And she's just a fantastic storyteller, and her voice was so particular, so I've really tried to get as close to it as I possibly could. So yeah.
So here comes the toughest part of the conversation, stuff you haven't shot yet. Big Swiss.
Yes. Yeah. I can't really say anything about that, other than if you haven't got the book already, you should definitely get the book.
It's in development. You're trying.
Yeah, it's super early, but I basically very fortunately, like, unplanned, had a bit of time before I started the play, and I got sent the book as a PDF, and I started reading it, and I was like, cannot put it down, and then there was like a huge bidding war. And we got it. Okay. But it's in development, it's early stages, don't want to jinx.
No casting yet, nothing
no
to speak of.
casting, very early, but incredible book, yeah.
You can probably say a lot about, are you a big Marvel fan, by the way, Jodie?
No. I think I know where this is going.
Are you familiar with the Fantastic Four, Jodie Comer?
I am now, after the last year.
Heard of this lady named Sue Storm?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever met Kevin Feige or spoken to Kevin Feige, Jodie Comer?
No.
Okay.
No, guys, I don't know anything about it. I feel like when I say this, people are like, okay. It's like you can't win either way.
You can't win.
No.
Would it be of interest? Is that potentially dipping your toe into that world, committing to that kind of long-term?
I think never say never, but like right now, no.
Okay.
But I think never say never, right? I think as I said before, like usually when you finish one project, you then want to try something very different. So I don't know, maybe.
So it's not going to be announced like next week, and then I'm going to realize that you were lying to my face.
I've been lying to you.
Okay.
Imagine my actor. You'd be like, wow, her acting is that good.
She is good.
She really is the real deal.
One more rumor going around.
Oh, God.
No, serious. Blade Runner. There is a Blade Runner TV series. Do you know anything about this?
Guys, you have to realize these people just make this stuff up. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking.
You've heard this rumor, though, right? Blade Runner 2099.
Yeah, because people ask me, but honestly, I don't know anything about it.
Okay. That would combine two of my great loves, Blade Runner and Jodie Comer.
I know. I hate to disappoint.
Okay. It's
I
early
go?
yet. You should do it. No, you should do that. Skip the Shrek stuff and do Blade Runner.
You be my new agent.
Yeah. No, that's a recipe for disaster. All right, let's do some. We got a ton of questions from you guys. We're going to do some of your questions, okay? Let's see what happens. What is your favorite way to decompress after working on projects with such heavy subject matter? You mentioned music.
Yeah. Music, a good hot bath, a holiday, if I can. I went away with my mum, which was really beautiful. So a bit of quality time with family, but yeah, mainly a bath, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. Emmeline wants to know who's your favorite character you've ever played and why. Is it always the most recent character? I feel like that's what actors often say to me, like the one they just finished playing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm in this, really kind of special moment with Tessa right now, and it's interesting because obviously I got to revisit Villanelle. And I feel like I've grown so much as a woman, actually, since the first run in London in the Harold Pinter. So I'm so interested as to how she now evolves with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not that I'm going to change anything drastic. But, it's just interesting. You're at a different point in your life. And, yeah.
Favorite part about New York City so far?
Favorite part about New York City? Just basically following all the dogs around. So if you see me following you, I'm sorry, but like I'm obsessed with how attractive New York dogs are. They're like
Yeah.
We were speaking about
I was
this
showing her
before.
some photos of my dog, obviously.
Yeah, we were having a dog chat. So I think, that's been my, without sounding weird.
I mean, better to follow the dogs than the people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
although I'm now realizing that it's probably not a good thing to do.
Probably phase that one out. If you could play any role previously played by someone else, what role would it be and why?
Oh, God. None. I feel like everyone, when you watch something, everything
Then it's
is
ingrained.
so...
It is what it is.
Yeah, it's tricky. I I don't know if
Okay,
I have an
that's
answer
okay.
to that one.
Similarly, magic wand, you can have your dream role tomorrow. What would it be? I guess we talk musicals, but is there a specific... See, these are the tough ones. Mine were easy.
Pardon?
Mine were easy, my questions. These are the tough
I
ones.
know, God, guys.
You can pass, it's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Favorite part of the job? What's the favorite? Is it before? Is it the research? Is it actually being in the moment on set?
Being in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, I think that's like, more oftentimes than not the moment where you actually surrender. And that's what it's about, when you come home from a filming day or from the theater, and like when you genuinely feel like, I figured something out there, or I feel fulfilled, and and then, but that's the beautiful thing about theater, is like it's experienced there and then, and you feel what the audience is feeling. Whereas like sometimes it's tricky, if you do a film or a television series, and then then it becomes something else entirely, and people form their own opinions and say whether it was good or not, and you have to let go of it. So I feel like it's always the moment on set that's
that's when it's yours. And
exactly. It's personal.
Do you have any pre-show rituals when you're on stage?
I have many, but I don't.
Are you superstitious? Is it like vocal
Maybe
warm-ups?
I am.
What is it?
I don't know. It just feels like a very private moment,
Wow.
It's nothing crazy, don't get me wrong. It's probably what everyone does.
She stares at dog photos of other people's dogs.
No, again, music.
Yeah.
Again, I have like music, because I used to get quite, when you hear the audience kind of coming in. So I more often than not play some music beforehand. But yeah.
We're back to New York City, favorite New York City food. So yeah, you're going to be here a few months. What are you going to exploit that we have in our fair city?
I haven't had a bagel yet. I need to go. Where can I get a really good bagel?
Essa Bagel's good. I think Essa Bagel's a good one. H&H. Well, I'll get you a list. We'll get you a list.
I need a good bagel.
Yeah, you're in the right spot for that. We were talking about pre-show warm-up. What about this? Is there an acting exercise, warm-up technique that you find helps you?
Well, I mean, with the play, like, it's all about warm-up, and I think I really had the newfound appreciation when I was doing it of like, wow, your body is an instrument and you have to take care of it. And so there's a lot of vocal warm-ups, a lot of kind of like just stretch. I get to like the theater, like,
right.
Swim half an hour earlier or whatever, and do all my all that kind of stuff. You have to get over yourself. Like at first you're like, oh God, it's all a bit weird. And then by the end of it you're like, I need to warm up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For the run when you're on stage, like, are you living like a monk? Like can you like enjoy life? Like, or are you kind of just devoted 90% of your body and mind to work?
It's tricky because I really feel like I haven't got that balance quite right. Like, when I went into the play the first time, I was actually very fearful, and I think there had to be an innate part of me that believed I could do it, otherwise I wouldn't have said yes, Sure. But I think, surface level was just like, hope I don't mess this up. I've, I hope I can kind of follow through with this. So yeah.
Megan wants to know, what was the most challenging acting skill you had to adapt from screen acting to stage acting?
What was the most challenging?
I guess adapting, I've had this conversation with many actors over the years. Like, is there a difference in your mind between acting for a camera and acting on stage?
Projection, using your voice, I think, and also your body. Like, I suddenly was like, oh yeah, like when you're on set, more often than not, they'll be in a close-up, and you can have your Ugg boots on, and you maybe not be aware of what your hands are doing entirely, but when you're on a stage, it's like every part of you is, emitting an emotion and telling the story, and especially, for the people who are right up the back in the balconies. So that was something I really had to kind of, I guess, become more aware of and hone in on. Yeah.
Sorry, I can't read. Tirza? What advice do you wish you had gotten during the beginning of your career? Or what advice would you give any aspiring young actress?
I would say, don't take no for an answer. I feel like, I especially, like kind of speaking about the play and, I think believing in yourself, like always having that kind of self-belief, because you will be told no more oftentimes than not. And, if someone says you can't do theatre because you haven't been to drama school, okay. Maybe the stars may need to align and you may need to meet people who are patient enough and willing enough to help you, but like it isn't impossible.
Yeah.
So don't take no for an answer.
Are you? Yeah. Do you watch a lot, film, TV wise? What's your?
Yeah.
What are your latest obsessions, TV or film?
White Lotus. Yeah. Obviously.
It's the best job for an actor. You get to go on vacation basically, and
so I know they look
read
like
Mike
they
White's
have
words.
the best time.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with that recently. What else have I watched? I haven't been watching an awful lot of TV actually. I watched Close recently, which was a beautiful film.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of any TV wise.
All right, so we're going to end with my profoundly random questions for you. You ready? This is the Happy, Sad, Confused, profoundly random questionnaire.
Okay.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
You told me you're a hoarder once. What do you hoard? What do you collect?
I'm not a hoarder.
You said, I have it on tape. It's literally...
No, I like... I just like things. Like if you see like a shell or a leaf or a stone or something. Like, I don't know, I make things mean something. Like, okay. I'm just like, I collect little things. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, that's gonna remind me of that moment.
Right.
So like things that you don't need, basically.
Do you collect stuff from set? Like, do you have like mementos from?
No, just from like the street or the park. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Fan art? Have you collected any of the fan art over the years? There's a lot out there.
Well, there's so, yeah. Well, when I first got Instagram as well with the show, like I posted so many because they're just so brilliant. Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. Like also some of the stuff that I get sent to sign is just, my dad loves it actually.
Really?
Yeah, my dad often sends me links. He's like, have you seen this? So my dad's a big fan.
What's the wallpaper on your phone?
Clouds.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, clouds. But not like generic clouds.
Specific clouds?
Like it's kind of like the cosmos cloud. Like the cosmos, but even the clouds not there. I don't know, it's like, I don't know.
Okay. You're in a safe space. It's okay. What's your favorite adult beverage?
Depends on the mood, really.
Okay. You're
what?
Happy and want to celebrate.
Margarita.
Okay.
Gin and tonic.
Okay.
Pint of beer.
All at once. So back to back.
Just one of those hats with the cups on the side.
You're classy that way. Yeah. Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings?
Harry Potter, I think. Yeah. Don't ask me Harry Potter questions.
And here's the trivia. No. Such a poser. Would you ever skydive?
Yes. I would actually. All my family did it earlier this year. I couldn't for filming, but they all did it, and they sent me the pictures, and some of them are hilarious, but also like I'd never seen them look so alive. I was like, I have to do this. Yeah. But I've not done it yet.
Tattoos? Yes or no?
On myself or other people?
Yeah, do you want to tattoo me? No.
No, I don't have any.
Yeah. I'm not interested. There's not a dream tattoo. That's one day.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
What's the worst note you can get from a director?
Not that this has ever happened, but I always imagine if it's like, could you just do better? Would be brutal. But you know what is a good note? Like I said this to Jeff as well when playing Kathy on Bikeriders, because she is very quite eccentric in a sense of she says exactly what she thinks, and also just the tone of her voice and the way in which she speaks. I thought, there's a danger of doing too much with this, so and I was very aware of that, and I trusted Jeff so much, and I remember saying to him, just tell me if I'm if I'm doing too much. So sometimes if a director comes in and goes, just do less, and you're like, You're like,
got it.
Oh, less, okay. So that can be the worst, but is the best note you can get, actually, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any pet peeves on set? Like what?
Lateness.
Yeah.
People showing up late.
Yeah. She was early today, so just so you know.
I was so early.
You were. What app do you check too much?
God. Instagram. Spotify? Love Spotify.
Okay.
Not that I check that, but I'm on it. But I'm on it a lot. It's got to be Instagram, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. In the spirit of happy, sad, confused, who's an actor that makes you happy?
An actor that makes me happy. I feel like whenever I watch Woody Harrelson, I'm always like, I always go,
He seems happy,
yeah,
so it's infectious.
It's infectious. Jamie Bell.
There you go. Your new best friend. We touched on this earlier, but movie that makes you sad. You had said that it was Fox and the Hound, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And finally, what's the food that makes you confused?
It's not really a food, it's a condiment.
Continue.
Wasabi. Whoa.
Is it the spice?
Okay. That was personal for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm a little upset. I'm a little sad.
It's like a lot.
It is a lot. That's the point.
But even like the tiniest bit is too much.
I know. It's awesome that way. Yeah.
I think that's what I'm most confused by.
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like cream cheese and sour cream, you're fine with that.
Yeah,
kind of,
fine.
okay.
Fine. How do you feel about beans?
I'm fine with beans. I don't like beets. I'm not into beets.
Oh, beets.
Anywho, okay. Well,
I feel like I'm going delirious. Do you?
Yeah, I think so too. No adult beverages tonight. But this felt like a psychiatric session in some ways. We cracked her wide open for you guys. I feel like I mangled the name, but I thought I had heard it pronounced differently. Give me the correct pronunciation of the play.
Well, you can say it a multitude of ways.
Yeah.
I say Prima Facie.
Then I'm going to say Prima Facie.
Yeah. On YouTube, though, there's an actual video that I searched before it got announced. I was like, I have to get this pronunciation right. And it's like a 2-minute video of like 200 people saying it every different way. So you say however you want to say it, Josh.
I'm saying it your way. Prima Facie. Previews begin in just a couple weeks. It's a limited run.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I haven't seen it live. I will be front and center because I can tell already just even seeing it.
Not right at the front, though.
No, I'm going to be right front and center with a hat with the beer and the margarita on it with a big thumbs up. That won't be distracting. No, but it's a truly special piece of work, and hopefully you guys, if you have the opportunity, get your tickets now because I'm sure it's going to sell out. A couple thank yous and notes before we end this great night. I do want to just encourage you guys. Look, again, Jodie said such an immediate yes when I asked her for this favor to help raise money for my mom's organization. By the way, my mom is here tonight.
What's your mum's name?
What's that?
What's your mum's name?
Barbara. This is, Jodie, you should know, my mom has not been in person to any of my events yet. This is the one she came out for.
I feel honored. I feel honored.
So check out harlem-is.org if you're feeling generous. Make another contribution. But thank you all so much for coming out and supporting that great organization tonight. I want to thank Symphony Space. They put on amazing events. Check out the schedule. They've got a great spring coming up. I want to thank Ricky Weiss and Lauren Bradshaw for helping me prepare for this ginormous, confusing human being that I had to get ready for. I want to thank the fans around the world. I want to thank the fans that came out in New York tonight. And most importantly, I want to thank our new New Yorker. Hopefully she'll stay a while. Give it up one more time for the one and only Jodie Comer.
Thank you so much.